Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm kind of glad to be talking about this topic today because this is one of those topics that honestly can really make or break your business and your security. I really want to start with the question today. Well, first of all, we're going to be talking about passwords and multi-factor authentication. But let me ask you this. How many online accounts do you think the average person has? You know, a lot of the studies out there say over 100. I know for me, between myself and all of our clients, probably at least 1,000 different logins that I have to manage. So if you're like most people, you know, you're probably reusing the same 4 or 5 passwords across most of these sites, different iterations of something like, I don't know, your first name or your last name and some numbers, maybe an exclamation point. You know, this is a format that a lot of people use because they think it's easy and it's a little more secure than, let's say, just all lowercase letters that are 5 characters long. So you're doing something good, but sharing passwords amongst different login accounts is not a great practice. You know, hackers have a direct path into dozens of other accounts when one account gets breached. So no matter how long or no matter how complex your password is, once it's stolen, it's game over. And that's why today I'm going to show you about pairing passwords with multi-factor authentication. It's also called two-step verification in some places. This is going to help create a safety net that hackers can't easily bypass. So a little bit about me. A lot of you guys already know me, but for those of you that don't, my name is Michael Roybal. I own and operate IT Colorado. We are based in Loveland. We service nationwide. Most of our clients are centralized here between Fort Collins and Denver, Estes Park, Greeley, you know, the Tri-City area. So if you have any questions or you need somebody to talk to that's local, please reach out to us. You can reach us at itcolorado.com/book a call, and I'll send that link to you guys or reiterate it again a little bit later. So let's talk about why passwords all by themselves really just aren't enough anymore. So to start off, reusing passwords is a problem. I want you to imagine that you're logging into QuickBooks, but you've used the same password you used for your personal Facebook account. So if Facebook happens to get hacked and your password gets out there, criminals now have a way to also get into your business finances. Another major problem is using easily guessed passwords. Hackers know the tricks. So if your password is winter 2024 exclamation or your kid's name plus a number, it's going to take them seconds to crack it. You know, they have databases with billions of leaked credentials that are ready to go. And it is really important to keep in mind that there are leaked databases. So even if you've got a strong random password, it might still end up in a breach if the company storing it gets hacked. And once that database is out there on the dark web, hackers start to share and they start to sell these passwords like trading cards. So using passwords alone, it's kind of like putting a lock on your front door, but leaving the spare key under the doormat. So the lock looks solid. Anyone who knows where to look can get in. So if passwords can be stolen, reused, or cracked, how do we stay ahead of the attackers that are out there? That's where multi-factor authentication, or MFA, comes in. So MFA means that you need more than one proof that you are who you say you are. It's usually something that you know, like your password, something that you have, such as your phone or a code generator or some sort of hardware key, and then something that you are, so like a fingerprint or facial recognition. The most common methods that are out there are SMS codes or text messages. You know, these text messages, you receive a login code. It's better than nothing, but it can still be hijacked through a process called SIM swapping. And this happens all the time too, especially if you're being targeted as a high profile value generated asset. There's also authenticator apps. So Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator, these generate time-based codes on your phone. These things rotate every 30 seconds or so, and they're far more secure than SMS. There's also push notifications. So instead of typing a code, you just approve or deny a login attempt on your phone. I really don't like this. There's a term out there. It's called credential fatigue, which, sometimes people will spam you with so many notifications that the only way that your brain says to stop it is to click allow. So that is not a good push notification. There are also hardware tokens. These are devices like a YubiKey that they provide a physical factor that hackers online can't replicate. I know some banks are handing these out to their customers, and I applaud them for that. Hardware keys, I think, are one of the best ways to stop credential attacks. And there's plenty of research out there. Microsoft has reported that MFA stops 99.9% of automated attacks. Verizon, they did a study, the 2025 DBIR. It shows credential abuse is still the #1 way that hackers get in. And MFA is specifically designed to block this. So think of it like this. A password might be the lock on your door, but MFA is the deadbolt. So even if someone steals your house key, without that deadbolt, they're not going to get in. So how do you apply this to your business? For passwords, you need to start by using a password manager. You can't possibly remember hundreds or thousands of unique passwords. So let a tool that can generate and store them securely do this for you. You should use long passphrases, something like coffee table river cloud 42 is easier to remember and harder to crack than capital P @SSW0RD exclamation. For MFA, let's make sure that it is turned on for your most important accounts. Honestly, if any account supports it, use it. So this is going to include your email account, your banking account, your payroll account, your tax software, your CRM, basically anything that would cause serious damage if it were compromised. And avoid SMS when possible. Authenticator apps or hardware keys, they are much more secure. And train your team. One of the newest attacks, like I mentioned earlier, is called MFA fatigue. The hackers, they will send repeated login prompts until someone hits approve just to stop the buzzing. And employees, they need to know not to fall for that. The point here really is layering. View your defenses like layers of an onion. If a hacker gets past one layer, they still have more to peel back before they can reach the core. Excuse me. Now let's talk about what not to do. So these are the mistakes that I see over and over again. This usually happens, sadly, with a lot of business owners. They're too busy to deal with security. They turn off the MFA because it's too annoying, or because they don't like to have to change their password in their password their password that has to be rotated every 30 days. So they disable these things. Yes, it takes 10 extra seconds, but that small inconvenience, it can really save you from a 6-figure ransomware payout. Only enabling MFA on admin accounts. Hackers know that regular employees can be the weakest link. So once inside, they can start to escalate privileges. Using only SMS. It's better than nothing, but it is vulnerable to the SIM swapping attack. And if the attackers can trick your carrier into porting your number, they get your codes. Also, not covering remote access. So if employees are working from home or they're logging in from the road, MFA must be in place. Also, ignoring employee fatigue. If people mindlessly approve push notifications, the system is going to fail. And awareness training, it's just as important as the technology. So let's wrap this up. Passwords, they are still the first line of defense, but they're far from perfect. Adding an MFA, and suddenly the hacker's job gets 10 times harder. So this is just like pairing a deadbolt with the lock on your front door. The passwords are the same. One without the other isn't enough. And together they make you a much harder target. So if you're not sure where to start, we can help you. Reach out for a quick security checkup, and we'll help you figure out where the risks are in your business and where we can come in to help you secure and protect, everything that you are trying to build. So I want to thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to tune in next week for the next live. I want you to stay safe, stay secure, and don't forget to update those passwords and implement your MFA. Remember, you can reach us at itcolorado.com/book-a-call. Should be going across the video down there on the bottom. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Feel free to DM me and we will chat. Thank you.